Well, top of the morning, Portland. What's going on, everybody? We are on at our original time. It is 9 a.m. However, the other boys are out. They're doing who the hell cares. They left your boy in charge today. I got my guy, Casey Smith, behind the glass. What's going on, brother?
How we doing today, Rashad?
Oh, man, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's surprisingly in December, 60-degree weather in Portland.
Yeah, we get good weather right now.
I don't know. I'm concerned because 60 degrees in Portland during December is kind of crazy. So they say it's a Pineapple Express. Is that what it's called? Or
I guess that just means that we're probably going to get the snow in March like usual.
well, that's and that's kind of the way it goes here. We don't really get winters the way other people get winters. Like right now in a place like Buffalo or somewhere in Boston, like it's probably snowing right around this time of year. But for us, right around spring break is when we can expect a little bit of snow. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool to be in Portland. I mean, it's good to miss school for a couple days in March, I guess, if you're a kid.
Yeah, I guess.
We don't really get many canceled days because of the snow.
I used to get bugged about it when baseball season would start coming around. That's right when, late February, March, and then we get a snow. And all of us are out there doing field maintenance because we used to have grass, everything.
Right, yeah. So, but yes, it has been beautiful. So hopefully you're all enjoying it out there. This is Sports Saturday on 105.1 The Fan, 1080 The Fan, and the Fan Sports Network. Yeah, man. I don't know what I didn't know that you were as young as you were, Casey. I'll be real. Like, I mean, and I think I'm the oldest guy on the show, obviously, But yeah, man. At first, I think I told you, when Swag introduced you, because this is only our second time meeting, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So when I first met you, Swag was like, "Hey, have you met Casey?" And I was like, "Oh no, is that your son?" And he was like, "What? No, like he's the new board up." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let me go in there and meet Casey." So
I think I am the same age as Swag's son, so
are you?
I don't take offense to that.
Hey man, we needed some youth in here, man. This is a bunch of old ass dudes in here.
And Swag went to high school with my mom.
See, look at that, old ass dudes, man. So yeah, we needed some young blood, some young bones in the building. Somebody that could be able to just pick up on a random Saturday because Jordan decided, he and his wife are going somewhere for the weekend. So yeah, so I'm glad you were here, my guy. You know what I mean? It's definitely a nice change.
I like to be here. I like being in talking sports.
It's a cool job, right?
Oh, it's the best.
Like, so here's the cool part, Casey, and you know this. Oh, no, actually, you probably don't. But like, I'm more like the people that are listening right now. Like, I'm closer to a lot of them because I have I'm gonna say it. I have a real 9 to 5. I say that because I love this gig. This is a dream job for people. Like, you know what I mean? This is a dream job for people. Like, we sit around and talk sports for free. If you're at work and you work in an office or you work construction or you work something where you're around a bunch of people all day, at times you find reasons to talk sports.
Every non-sports job I've ever worked, I was always the dude who was like, oh, where do we go to talk sports? He's got the news. He's got this, that.
Seriously, like, oh, he's baseball. He loves football. Like, he's the basketball dude. So you had people you can interact with. So Isaac and Suk, this is a fantasy. There are a lot of people that are like, man, listening right now. They're like, oh, I would love to do radio. If I could just do that. And so many podcasts out there, people that are trying to get their name out there. Like, we get paid to do it. Like, so this is a dream job. I get to talk. If you're one of the main hosts, that means you get to talk sports all day and then watch sports as your job. So your wife, your girlfriend, your partner can never be like, can you turn the channel? It's like, man, that's important game. Got to watch. Like, I have to see this, type thing. So it's one of those things. But I work a 9 to 5 like everybody else. So I rarely get a chance to even be around and see people. So everybody else, you're a part of the culture here at the Fan now. We've only got a chance to see each other a couple times because I'm only the Saturday guy. So yeah, man, it's good to see you. All that to say that, man, I'm glad to see you in here, Brody.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
That's what's up, man. I was trying to look through the sports landscape right now, and I guess there's a lot happening, but is it?
There's not a lot happening.
Yeah, I mean,
especially because we haven't started the college football playoff yet. Next week's the big week, but we're kind of just in that lull period.
And I think that's you know what? I think that's what it is. This is the week that there's no college football. We're just kind of twiddling our thumbs, waiting for next week when the playoff actually starts. And of course, we're going to get to the Ducks' historic first playoff game at Autzen Stadium. So we're going to get our thoughts on that and everything like that. But man, I don't know. It just feels like a boring weekend. And basketball doesn't really get good or interesting until at least after Christmas.
I think Christmas marks when the basketball season gets good.
Yeah, because right now it's tough to watch. And again, doesn't help when your favorite team, and I know you're not a Blazer fan per se, but when your favorite team, which is the Blazers for me, is ass. Man, let's just go ahead and be real. They are not a good basketball team right now. Like it's sad to watch because you have players out there like Denny Avia. We're gonna talk some Blazers, but he's been so much fun to watch. Like he's
electric.
He's like seriously, like I see some Luka there. Like there's a little bit, he might be a little quicker than Luka, but like you look at some of his movements and how he's able to get to the rim, and once he's there, how he's able to finish around the rim. Like I think, we might have something in Denny Avia, you know what I mean? But
I think you do too.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get to that, man. Today's a special day here for me for a couple different reasons. Number one, we're gonna have a guest here at 10 a.m. Yes, man. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on any of the socials, TikTok, all those, there's a man from Portland, Oregon right here. Name is Keon from Portland. You got time now to look him up, follow him and everything like that. But he makes these skits about certain parts of Portland. Some of them are incredibly funny. Some of them are really informational, and informative. And so, some of them are think pieces and things like that. But either way, he is a deep brother, and he's going to be on here a little bit later. You get a chance to look at some of the things he's done about certain parts of Portland that you may not want to be. So we're going to ask him today. I'm going to ask him, where's a part of Portland that you should feel most comfortable if you're a white guy?
Yeah,
or
I saw a few.
You should feel least comfortable if you're a white guy or a black guy, So it's one of those things. So I want to know what the worst strip club is in Portland. What the best one is. Where are you most likely to get robbed? Those little things are important because a lot of times people think this fair city of ours is. Oh man,
all love and
it's
roses.
All love. Like, seriously, just a bunch of hippies smoking joints. It's all good here. There are some parts here to where it's not necessarily all good. Not a lot of those parts, but they do exist out here. So we're going to get to him at 10 a.m. But for me personally, today I get a chance to honor somebody for me that was inspirational, that was kind of a mentor of sorts. So there's a gentleman named Kevin Fuller. It's right here from Portland, Oregon. He started an organization called the Perspective Gents that I was in when I was in high school. So today I get a chance to kind of give him his flowers a little bit later this afternoon. So I'm excited for that, man. It's a big day, without being a whole lot of sports going on. So this couldn't have happened at a better time.
It's a good day for it.
Yeah. Do you have a girlfriend?
I do. Yep.
So this is a day where you actually probably get to kick it with her.
Yeah, I get to spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
I get to turn on that Army-Navy game and maybe tune her out during the times where I don't want to listen.
Oh, there you go. I forgot about the Army-Navy game. It's been a long time since I've watched that because, I don't know. I often forget about it.
They've played 125 times already in history, so there's a few forgettable ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I completely forgot that was on, but that is some college football, so I might tune in to that because I have nothing but time after I have this event later this afternoon.
Any reason to turn on college football is a good one.
Yeah, let's see what is happening in college football today because there are games. I think. Let's see. Is there a schedule? Let's see. Look at college football.
Washington plays Boise State tonight at 5 p.m.
There you go. You got Washington, Boise State tonight. That's an ABC. So that'll be a fun game to watch. And Washington is these are two fair teams playing. Boise State, if they were in any other conference, they would be considered for, not this year, obviously they went 9-4, but if they were any other conference, there'd be no question of Boise State and you should be in. They were in the playoff last year. So Washington was in the playoff a couple years ago, so these are two.
They're going to be
a pretty good game-ish.
They're going to be one of those top competitors out of the Pac-12 every year.
Yeah, but the games leading up to the playoff, they're not necessarily must-see TV. So you've got Troy at Jacksonville State on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday you got Old Dominion at South Florida, and then in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl, you've got Louisiana and Delaware. So a lot of compelling football out there if you're interested, during the week. So, but there are some football nerds that are gonna tune in to this Old Dominion and South Florida game. So I'm not one of them, but yeah.
No, I'll be out for that one.
No, yeah, I'll definitely have anything else to do that day. But I am excited for this college football playoff coming up, and we are going to talk the Oregon Ducks and the college football playoff against who are they playing against? James Madison?
James Madison Dukes.
Tight. I mean, this is what you wanted, right? You wanted that 5 seed, and you wanted that game in Autzen, so now you get to play against James Madison Dukes. Cool, man. So we can talk a little bit about the playoff and just how things kind of rolled out, maybe what you expect from the other teams that are going to be playing in this playoff. We have to talk some Blazers because they are on an amazing bad streak right now. Like, I mean, not necessarily a losing streak, but they're just not a very good team, and we'll talk about what they need to do to potentially turn things around. Maybe check in about the rest of the NBA. That's one thing we don't get to do a whole lot is check in about the NBA. Give a quick NFL check in because we are getting ready for the playoffs, and there are some teams that are already in playoff mode. Which one of those teams is most likely to make the playoffs? So we'll kind of get into that. And then a whole lot more. We got Keon from Portland coming on here. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I got my guy Casey Smith, and I'm Rashad Taylor. This is Sports Saturday. Let's get it going.
Hey, friends.
9:15 on 12:13 here on Sports Saturday on the Fan. Casey Smith pinch hitting for my guy Jordan Schultz, who texted me where he went. Hold on. Where did he say he's going? He said Casey's going to fill in, headed up the Washington coast.
Yeah, somewhere up the Washington coast.
Yeah,
is what he told me.
which is always beautiful. So underrated scenery. So speaking of great scenery, Autzen Stadium, beautiful this time of year, and it's going to be super nice come December 20th at 4:30 p.m. on TNT or True TV. James Madison, the Dukes, are visiting the Ducks of Eugene, Oregon. And so there was a lot of fallout. So last week we didn't get a chance to discuss the actual fallout of the bracket coming out. We talked about what it would be, what it might be and everything, but there were still some games to be played. Those games were played and won by most of those teams. And so everything happened. Notre Dame got pissed because they're not in. Then they said they're not going to play in the bowl game. So it's been a whole week, right? But either way, now we know that the Oregon Ducks will host the very first playoff game at Autzen Stadium. This is what we wanted, fans, right? Casey, I'm not sure where you were on this whole thing, but there are a lot of people, most fans that I talked to were like, that 5th seed is good. We won the game at Autzen last year. Having the bye didn't really help a whole bunch, which I think is crazy talk, but, to each their own. James Madison, man, I'm going to be real with you. Outside of Wayne Knight, because he's one of the best rushers in college football this year. I want to say he's top 5, top 6, top 7, something like that. I don't have the numbers right in front of me yet, but I know he is a big deal. I know he's been killing this year. I know Alonzo Barrett, the second. Yes, Alonzo Barrett the second. I know he's had a pretty good season. If they're in this situation right now to be in the playoff playing against the Oregon Ducks, a team who a lot of people still think can win it all. So I'm not going to act like I know a whole lot about James Madison. And so I can read all the stats and everything they do and everything they've done, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know exactly how they move, how they operate. I do know it looks like they have a great rushing attack, and Oregon is great. It can be great against the run, but then some days it'll be okay. That's strange. That guy's got 115 yards on the ground, but for the most part, I don't see any real reason. This should be a short segment. I don't see any real reason Oregon would lose this game.
Yeah, I think that Oregon's defense really kind of is dictated by how their linebackers play. You saw it in the Penn State game, and then you saw it in the Indiana game. When they played poorly, they lost. And when they play well, they fly around and play a different breed of defense. Wayne Knight's 10th in the nation in rushing. Again, he's got 190 attempts for 1,263 yards. I still think Oregon just puts the hammer on them early.
Yeah, I just don't. At the end of the day, I don't think that, and I don't know, but I assume Oregon has better recruits, bigger recruits, stronger guys that have played on this team for the last little bit. So I would assume, just based on being the better athletes, because I'm going to assume that James Madison doesn't have the caliber of athlete that the University of Oregon does.
It's also the depth of the athletes too.
Absolutely.
Oregon has
they can bring in their third
roster.
string guys. Like, how many receivers has Oregon lost this year and still been able to kind of recover? And obviously having a Kenyon Sadiq doesn't hurt, if you're the Ducks. But there have been so many different guys that have come into that wide receiver room that have been able to contribute for you, and so I think just the depth of Oregon, like you said, alone is enough to say, like, okay, well, I don't know. They've got how many different receivers have at least a reception? There's over 15 receivers for Oregon this season that have at least a reception, just one. So that lets you know how many guys are getting into the game, are into the rotation, And so of those, like 15 to 17, man, at least 14 of them have at least 10 catches. So there are a lot of guys out there. And so that just speaks to the depth of this Oregon team. But if they're going to do, I think this is kind of I'm not going to call it a trap game, but I could also see Oregon looking at a school like James Madison, like the rest of us are looking at James Madison and saying, no problem. Like, we got this. And then all of a sudden you come out a little flat. The linebackers start a little slow. The offensive line is a little lackadaisical on certain plays. And big plays happen. Not like a lot of sustained drives, but you cough up the ball, you fumble, you throw a weird interception that tip, off the receiver's fingers or something like that. So a lot of people don't think that's going to happen. Most people don't think it, but I think that's the only way that Oregon would cough something like this up. It's just last year against Ohio State, they were just bad across the board. Offensively, they were bad. Defensively, they're bad. Special teams, everything was bad, across the board. If they play that way, the way they did against Ohio State, you lose against most teams like that.
Again, it's college football, so as long as you don't come out and play bad, sloppy football, you're not, misaligned, you're not making miscues as far as your reads, as far as your assignments, Oregon should just flat out beat them in the first half. I think we should see all of Oregon's second string. I have no reason to believe why James Madison will keep Dante Moore in the game for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. So, and especially we're not thinking, we still don't know, and I'm not sure if there's been any reports. I haven't seen anything. If DeCorian Moore is going to be able to go, I think people would have been, singing to the mountaintops if he were cleared and able to play. Or Gary Bryant Jr. Like, we don't know really what their status is going into that game. If they can get back on the field, then you're good. Who knows? If the Ducks can go deep enough into the playoff, maybe Evan Stewart gets back, for you. I mean, I would put him back into the rotation if you got an opportunity to have him in the game. But I think this is an opportunity for you to really work out a lot of the kinks. This is where you want to start playing your best football. Like towards the last game of the season, last couple games of the season, I think Oregon got back to playing the way that we were used to seeing them play. There was like a 4-week lull after that Penn State game that was just kind of like they're winning, right? Or they lost the game, but then they're winning games, but it doesn't look great. Then they play Rutgers and it's like, okay, that looks good. And they play Iowa and it's like, okay, you win, that's good. But it just didn't look like Oregon football that we had been used to seeing throughout the last couple of seasons under Dan Lanning. And so
100%. And I think that the Minnesota game kind of really marked that switch.
Right.
Of we're a playoff team.
We have to start playing like it.
We're going to play playoff football. And they really had made the switch. I mean, you saw them against Iowa. And yeah, for 4 quarters, you're going, okay, what's going to happen? And then ultimately, Iowa just never really turns on the gas the way that we think they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
But Oregon's played good football for 4 quarters in the last 3 appearances.
Yeah.
And so I think I would trust that more than trusting JMU coming off of some hype.
Yeah, and I want to be honest, dude. Like, Oregon's in the Big Ten now. And so I want to give them credit too. I don't want to completely poo-poo on their wins against Iowa and Wisconsin and everything. Because in this Big Ten, you're going to have to grind out some wins. Like, you're not going to have those huge, Chip Kelly 70-point games against a lot of people anymore. I mean,
look at the Big Ten championship. What was it? 13-10 was the final score?
Yeah. So you're going to have to grind out some of these 16-18 games. That 21-7 win against Wisconsin. You're going to have, Wisconsin. You're going to have to be able to grind some of those games out because a lot of them are going to be dogfights. And we have to do this too. This is what we haven't done. We have to tip our cap to these kids at the University of Oregon and Dan Lanning for their ability to kind of enter themselves into this Big Ten and become a force immediately and be able to really adjust their style of play. The Pac-12 always kind of got this, there's a stigma around it because it was like a passing league and it's just full of receivers and they, it's pretty football, right? It's air raid football type thing. And the Big Ten was Midwestern, nasty, hard-nosed kind of football.
We're going to run the ball down your throat 30 times a game.
The SEC was, that and the SEC and stuff like that. I think the ACC kind of gets a similar rap as the Pac-12. Or I think the ACC is the new Pac-12.
I think so.
Yeah, they look at them and like, okay, well, yeah, you guys are good, so we might take Miami. We're good. Like maybe you'll get in type thing, 6-7. We'll see.
But maybe you have a few Heisman guys here and there.
Yeah,
Lamar
maybe.
Jackson.
We'll put you that way and everything. But for the most part, like that was kind of the feel. And then Oregon comes to the Big Ten, and first year you win the championship. Second year you're a win away from winning the championship. Like, really, look at their schedule, and you would think they had a bad season because they're in the fifth place on this. Excuse me, in the fifth spot on the bracket. But they lost one game to the team that's number one and will have the Heisman winner, and you lost by 10. Right? Like, I mean, so I totally understand everything, but we have to make sure that we take time to really acknowledge what they've been able to do, because how many other conferences, or excuse me, how many other teams have really been able to go to another conference and just be dominant like that? Texas is now in the SEC, and they're good. They lost 3 games.
But look at USC. I mean,
Yeah,
USC came
struggling.
from the same exact conference.
Struggling.
And they wanted out. They were the first team that wanted out. And look at them. They can't find their way to 10 wins.
You know, and so you look in Oklahoma, who, you know, has been able to compete, but they're not competing with Georgia and Alabama quite yet. But, you know, maybe they will at some point. But Oregon came into a league that had both Michigan and Ohio State, and now you throw in, you know, Indiana, who got good out of nowhere, you
also
know,
have
all of a
Penn
sudden.
State.
Also have a Penn State all of a sudden, and last year you completely dominated, had arguably your greatest season up until you got to that playoff game. So I want to make sure we don't completely, you know, dismiss the feat that was to move into that conference and to be that good for that long. So tip of the cap to you, Dan Lanning. So what do you say we look at the rest of the playoff bracket and kind of give our thoughts on that?
I like the sound of that.
All right, let's do that. But first, here's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, per Adam Schefter, the Indianapolis Colts will activate Phillip Rivers to the 53-man roster, making him officially eligible to play in Sunday's game against the Seahawks. Rivers' last appearance on the field was a playoff game in January of 21, where he threw for 309 yards in a wild card loss to the Bills. Steelers star pass rusher TJ Watt has successful surgery Thursday to repair a partially collapsed lung that he sustained after a dry needling session at the team facility Wednesday. Mike Tomlin told reporters that Watt will not play in Monday night's game against the Dolphins. The Army-Navy game is today, where they will face off for the 126th time in their legendary rivalry. Navy leads the all-time series with 63 wins, 55 losses, and 7 ties as they come in as 6.5-point favorites. That game will kick off at noon inside M&T Bank Stadium. And over to the association, as your Blazers will host the Golden State Warriors tomorrow at 6 p.m. inside the Moda Center. Golden State coming in at 5.5-point favorites with an over-under set at 236.5. We'll make sure to keep you updated with information on injuries as we get it. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the firm of Harris and Meringue. Weekday
9:32 on 12:13 right here. 105.1 The Fan, 1080 The Fan, The Fan Sports Network, YouTube. We're all over the place. Twitch. Are those all of them? Is that all of them? Twitch, YouTube. Yeah, I think that covers them all, man. Speaking of covering them all, we're going to look at the rest of these games that are out here, man. So you look at the playoff, and the first round, honestly, there's a couple of great games there. You got Miami taking on Texas A&M. You've got Ole Miss taking on Tulane, and the winner of that one gets you Georgia, so awesome for them. And then you've got Alabama taking on Oklahoma, and the winner of that will get number 1 Indiana. Man, I was looking at the Alabama-Oklahoma game, SEC matchup, obviously, and, there's this will be a great one, I guess. Not I guess. This will absolutely be a great game, but
I think this is the best matchup.
This is absolutely the best matchup, going. It's an SEC matchup, so yeah, it's going to be great football, but there's an opportunity, there's a chance that it might be a 10-7 game too, because that's how the SEC works, but I don't know if we'll see that from Alabama, but yeah, for Bama to win, they need to win the turnover battle, if anything, make sure they establish that run, healthy running backs and making sure they're effective on the ground, stuff like that will be crucial for them to win third downs, like stuff that Alabama's usually pretty okay at,
Win the front seven battle is the big one for me. You had -3 yards as a team rushing last week against Georgia. You got to win the front seven battle because that's what SEC football is built on.
Yeah, converting on third down was a issue for them in their later games. I got a stat here that says they were 12 or 44 in their last 3 Power 4 games on third downs. And so, yeah, controlling the offensive line, your offensive line controlling things is going to be really important for you against this Oklahoma team. For Oklahoma, their front seven is great, right? So if they can force some turnovers against Alabama, then that can be a big feather in the cap for them. So I think Oklahoma, and when I said when they moved to the SEC, like there wasn't like instant success as far as like getting to the playoff and winning in the playoffs and stuff like that. Like Oregon was number 1 for most of the season last year, and so that's kind of why I make that comparison. But Oklahoma is in position to win the national championship this year. And the cool part is about this playoff is like there are legit of the 12 teams, there are legit like 7 of them that can be like, yeah, okay, I could see them winning.
I'd say there's 4 or 5 legit contenders.
Yeah.
You take out the group of 5s, you take out Miami. I think Tech could have a chance. If Tech beats Oregon, they're the team to beat. Ohio State still has Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin.
Right.
And Julian Sayin, if you haven't seen any of the Heisman press going on, Julian Sayin had a picture where no one was talking to him as the Heisman finalist. I think one reporter was over there questioning Julian Sayin. Everyone else was giving love to, Diego Pavia, Mendoza, and Jeremiah Love. I have no reason to believe why he's not the best quarterback in football. He completes passes better than anyone. And he's got the number 1 receiver in football.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith.
And I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that's why. If you have the number 1 receiver, we look at Jeremiah Smith as being a guy that's able to get you out of tight spots. And we know, like, when it's 3rd and 11 and they got to make a play, how many times did we see him do that against Oregon? It's like, damn it, why is he still open? And how did he make that play right there? So I think that's kind of why that's the case now. And Sayin's a freshman, sophomore. So he's going to get an opportunity next year. Once you're on once you're in this room, this Heisman room, and they're talking to you, like you're on the radar for the rest of your college career. So next year, like, trust me, he will have all the reporters kind of around him. But this year, nobody saw Fernando Mendoza coming like that. Did you?
Not at all.
Not at all. When I remember when we first kind of previewed the college football season, there was one quarterback in the Big Ten not named Dante Moore that we were like, this guy should be the guy in the Big Ten. Do you know who it was?
Was Maiava out of SC?
No, it was Drew Aller. It was Drew Aller.
Drew Aller.
Drew Aller was the guy. Like, there's no way that anybody is going to be better outside of maybe Dante Moore, and we didn't know what he was at that point. So Drew Aller was going to be the guy. Drew Aller was arguably one of the worst quarterbacks in the Big Ten this year. You could argue it
to end
like
the season, but
yeah,
I'd agree.
You could argue that, but so to see Fernando Mendoza just the rose from the concrete type thing, and we'll watch him shine, and he deserves it because that kid loves the spotlight, but just wants to, oh man, I'm just so glad to be here type thing. You can tell he's one of those gee golly gosh guys. Like, oh man, I just thank you for allowing me to be here and all praises and all that stuff. Like he's one of those guys. So how can you not like somebody like that? But but I do think that and back to Alabama and Oklahoma, there are some teams in this thing. Alabama could shock us all and make it again. We've seen it happen before. So we've seen them win before. So this is what Alabama does. Another game the one game that none of us are probably super, super jazzed to watch, and that's Ole Miss against Tulane. Tulane just happens to be one of those teams, much like James Madison, that we look at like, you're not really supposed to be here. And that's no disrespect to them, but I think that's the overall sentiment of a lot of fans is like, it's cool that you're here and it's a cool story, but realistically, you're not really supposed to be here.
Yeah, I just don't believe in them. I don't think they were that great in terms of how they played football. I mean, they're coming out of the AAC. They were 11-2. I thought North Texas was the better offensive team out of that league. Tulane just happened to, be the team that came out. But Ole Miss is still, even without Lane Kiffin, they're a great football team. Trinidad Chambliss is a great quarterback. They have a great offense and a great roster. There's no reason why Ole Miss should lose this.
No, they should not, especially the SEC team going against where'd you say Tulane was from?
The AAC.
The AAC? Tight, American Athletic, right? Yeah, no thank you. Like and no offense to them, but for a playoff game, I don't want to see Tulane play. I don't want to see James Madison play. And so I would have rather, if this was Ole Miss against Notre Dame, I'm in. Right? Like, I have no problem watching that game.
When fans are more excited to watch Army-Navy, which is coming out of that same conference. Again, Navy was third in the conference. They were 9-2.
Yeah.
I think people are more excited to watch the Army-Navy game than watch Tulane's first round.
Army-Navy's different. That's like pageantry, and that's, patriotism, and that's, a lot of different reasons to watch Army-Navy.
To a playoff game,
yeah.
That's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, I'd be excited to see, not excited, but I'm curious to see what the ratings for this game will be, because and what if Tulane comes out there and beats the hell out of Ole Miss? Like, that would be crazy. That's the only way that would make this entertaining, is if James Madison, and knocking on wood, or if James Madison or Tulane just comes out and just beat the brakes off of Oregon or Ole Miss. Like, that would be must-see TV.
I think it makes you take a whole examination of college football as a whole, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because then you reevaluate how you've been looking at everything.
You would have to. And now all of a sudden those other teams are going to start, the Tulanes and James Madisons of the world, the Appalachian States of the world are going to start getting more attention. In Appalachian State, I don't know how the hell they did, but probably not good enough to be anywhere near the playoff. But those type of teams are going to start getting consideration, especially if they're beating up on big brothers like Oregon and Ole Miss and whatnot. One other game on this schedule, and that is another game that should be a great game, and it's Miami against Texas A&M. Man, they've got some playmakers at receiver. They've got a 13th year quarterback in Carson Beck. How long? This is his fourth year, fifth year?
He should be a doctor.
Yeah, it seems like he's been in college for a really, really long time. But Texas A&M has their own really explosive offense. Marcel Reed is one of those ones. They don't talk about him a little bit, but if they can kind of overcome some of those little turnover woes that they have a lot of time, they can control the trenches at Kyle Field. Like, this could be a long day for Miami, but I can also see Miami turning it up with all those playmakers that they have, and putting some defensive pressure. They have one of the top ranked scoring defenses in all of college football. So you make a mistake, one or two, then there's a chance they take it back to the house and do something with it. And so, it could be a great game. I'm looking forward to this one. This is probably the one I'm most excited for, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I like this one, but it's got to be good for all 4 quarters. I think Texas A&M, we saw them, not play good first half football against South Carolina. Lenore Sellers is, he's a heck of a quarterback, but South Carolina wasn't a great team this year,
No.
and they hung a 30 spot up on A&M. A&M did have a 28-point comeback to win that game, but you got to take care of the ball. You got to make sure that Miami doesn't put this game away in the first half.
Yeah, yeah, and so I'm excited to see what happens. Both teams got to kind of handle this like first time playoff pressure. That's the big thing, and that's kind of the same thing for Ole Miss. It's the same thing for Tulane. Outside of really Alabama and Oklahoma, who are programs, not football, but are programs that have had a lot of success, have had a lot of Heisman success, and so they're used to being in these moments that are a little bit bigger. We can't say that for James Madison. We can't say that for Miami or Texas A&M. At this point, so it'll be this will be key for both of them because they're both offensive kind of powerhouses, and so hopefully we see a lot of scoring. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see one game because I think we're going to get one game that's going to be really close, and that's the Alabama-Oklahoma game, right? Then we're going to get one game that's just super lopsided, a couple games lopsided. That's the Oregon James Madison and Tulane.
Yep.
And then we're going to have one that's just like touchdown, back and forth. And I think that's going to be the Miami-Texas A&M. So hopefully we get the best of all three of those.
I mean, what does Carson Beck want out of the remainder of his college career?
A national championship,
I think
another
that's
one?
the answer.
Yeah.
You have to think that he's already been to, the promised land. He's won the game. He's been there before. He's lost it. Let this man just go and cook.
If I can go there with two different teams, get out of here, man.
Makes my resume look really good.
I'm one of those ones. Like you have to consider that when I'm going to the NFL. Hey, I'm a winner. If nothing else, like wherever I go, I'm gonna make sure that we try to win. So that'll be a huge selling point if you're Carson Beck going into the playoffs. So lots to see, lots of football that's happening. Starting the 20th, 19th. So the 19th is Alabama and Oklahoma. And then the 20th, we get three big ones, which is James Madison at Oregon, Tulane at Ole Miss, and Texas A&M visiting or hosting Miami. So lots to happen here. I'm excited for it. Hopefully you are too. Will you say we kind of shift gears and get some NFL real quick before our guest comes in?
I love that.
Let's do that, man. We're going to get some NFL stuff real quick, and then Keon from Portland at 10 o'clock right here, 105.1 The Fan.
This
NFL season quickly approaching its close at this point. You know, we're almost at the very end, which always sucks, but that means we get playoffs, we get Super Bowl, and then, you know, we start getting the draft. So the NFL season never truly ends. You know, it just kind of takes a pause for a few months, and then it's back to action. But there's so much that happens throughout the NFL. But this season has been a very, very weird season for a lot of reasons. For me, as a Patriots fan, it's been really strange to see my Patriots sitting in that what should be number one spot, but the Broncos win the tiebreaker over New England based on the best win percentage in conference games. But for right now, they are 3-1 in their division. The Patriots are 3-0. I don't get that part, but we'll see what it is. But as it stands, the Denver Broncos are the number one seed in the American Football Conference, and the Los Angeles Rams are the number one seed in the National Football Conference. But that could change for both teams as the season gets ready. Season kind of comes to a close. Patriots, Broncos tied for the same record right now. But those aren't really the teams that I want to talk about. There are a lot of teams that are right there in the middle, right? That could go one of two ways. The Detroit Lions are one of those teams that's in the mix. The Chicago Bears are one of those teams that's still in the mix. The 49ers are still one of those teams in the mix. And also, we can't forget about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys go on a 4-game win streak to end the season, and, you know, something happens there, right?
I think Dallas fans are hoping for way too much to happen.
Yeah, I think they are too. But what if, though, right? So the Dallas Cowboys are 6-6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 7-7. There are a lot of people that feel like Tampa Bay could go to the playoffs. So why not Dallas, right? So Dallas could have a nice little run. I don't think it's going to happen. But let's see who their last few games are against. Their last 3 games are against Vikings, Chargers, Commanders. Vikings are ass right now, so they could probably beat them. The Chargers are a good little team.
The Chargers are a good team,
Yeah.
but if that's not a must-win game, there's no reason why you're impressed.
So, and then the Commanders are out of it at this point, man. We know Jaden Daniels has not had a great season.
Mariota's back in the mix.
Yeah, Mariota's back. So whenever Marcus Mariota is back in the mix, you know things haven't gone well. Shout out to Marcus Mariota, greatest Oregon Duck of all time, but you know, at this point in his career, at this old age, you know, for him, it's not really looking good for him. I'm still kind of high on the Lions. I think, you know, the Lions could potentially be one of those teams that not just makes the playoffs, but makes a run and everything at that point. Obviously, the Bears sitting at 9-4. So you got a lot of competitive teams that are probably, I'm not going to say gonna miss the playoffs, but 8-5 Philly is in third place. You know, if you're looking at the actual playoff numbers and playoff standings right now, the 7-6 Panthers are in fourth. So those division winners just being there just have to. There's no choice. You know, so that part kind of sucks. I wish the division winner, division leader thing wasn't a thing. I feel like you're going to get some crap teams. And shout out to the Panthers because nobody saw 7-6 coming at this point. Did you?
Not at all.
Not at all. And so, I mean, shout out to them for being great. But I'm seeing a 10-3 Seahawks team that's in fifth, looking at, you know, one of those higher seeds. Like, why couldn't we be here? Even we're killing right now. So yeah, it's one of those things. So that's the National Football Conference. Over in the AFC, who saw the Texans? Like, the Texans looked like they were dead in the water for the first few weeks of the season. And then here comes Davis Mills out of nowhere and really saved their season.
I think he ignited their offense.
Absolutely.
Their offense was kind of, you know, moving a little slow in the mud, and all of a sudden Dalton Schultz gets activated. Nico Collins proves that he's a top 10 wide receiver in the league. CJ Stroud comes back, and then they're rolling on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So I always got to shout out Davis Mills, because without him for that 3-4 game stretch, however long he was in there and winning games for them, like that kind of ignited that team, and then they were able to kind of continue that momentum forward. So now the Texans sit here at 8-5. The Buffalo Bills are still the Buffalo Bills, and even in a down year, they're 9-4. currently in the 6th spot as far as the playoffs are concerned. So yeah, it is. We're getting to a space to where it's getting to be nitty gritty. Obviously, there are a lot of teams in playoff mode right now. The teams that are in playoff mode, like I have to win right now because I think the Chiefs, the Ravens, they're out. There's no way that they can. They're 6 and 7 respectively.
The sad thing is the Ravens still have 2 head-to-heads or another head-to-head against the Steelers, and if you're 1 or 2 games behind, you have a chance.
You have a chance, especially in that in that division. So they do have a chance. I guess they have more of a chance than Kansas City. Kansas City just looks old at this point, and that's what happens to dynasties at a point. Like they're great for 4 or 5 years, and then everybody gets old. It's a lot of football to play consistently for a long time, and now Travis Kelce is clearly mailing it in. Like he's got Taylor Swift money. He's not tripping no more. He doesn't need any of that stuff. Patrick Mahomes, his wife owns soccer clubs and stuff like that. Like at a point, I think they're kind of like success has kind of gone to their head a little bit. Not to their head, but maybe it's just gotten the best of them at this point.
The quality of play that they have produced on the football field has not been what the Kansas City Chiefs have produced the last 2 years.
No, it hasn't.
It's definitely taken a massive hit to their fan base.
Yeah, no, I mean, and how dare you, fan base? Like this has been the best team in football for like the past 5 years. They've been to like what 5 Super Bowls?
Well, the Patriots are back, so those jerseys got dusted back off.
Oh, you already know. I broke mine out as soon as we were like 7 and 2. It's like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and go get my sweatshirts and stuff. Yeah, I was, I kept them tucked away for a little bit.
Let me go get
yeah,
swagged out.
Yeah, absolutely. So it feels good to be back. But the Indianapolis Colts, man, how bad did you feel for Daniel Jones last week? Like my heart broke for that man because number one, you had to play for the Giants for the first. Under Brian Dable, under what other jackass was their coach for a little bit? I can't remember at this point, but it wasn't great. And so then you find a good situation in Indianapolis. You're sitting here at 8-5. You started the season better than it's been going lately, but then you get hurt, and just to see the frustration on his face.
Joe Judge was there before.
Boo. And so yeah, to see the frustration on Daniel Jones' face, like. He wasn't having a Pro Bowl season, but they were winning games, and he looked like a competent quarterback. And I think that was the part that was very different than we had been seeing throughout all of his years in New York.
I think at one point he was number 2 in the MVP voting behind.
Was he?
Drake May? I think it went Drake May, Daniel Jones, and then take a few down. You got Jonathan Taylor was up there, but either way, Daniel Jones was having an MVP caliber season. And it just got ripped away.
So I feel really bad for him. And so now they've got a 53-year-old on the 50 on the what is it, the 63? What's the roster now? It's like
53-man roster.
Is it still 53? Didn't they expand it?
No, it's still 53.
Is it? Okay. So 53-man roster. Here is to the rescue. I'm still trying to say it like out loud because it sounds like a joke. But Phillip Rivers is the new starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, that Phillip Rivers is the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts.
I want to say his last game was Josh Allen's second playoff win. So it was Josh Allen's first ever playoff appearance. Like Phillip Rivers' last game.
Yeah, and Phillip Rivers, I mean, he should have been in the Hall of Fame, at this point. He's been retired for long enough, but that's a move, right? That's it's definitely a move. Like Phillip Rivers didn't look great to end his career. Like his last few years were a kind of shaky. Now here he is at 44 years old, and it's not like a Brady 44 where I've been consistently playing for the last 5 years and kind of just moved from one team to another, but I've been retired for a long time. And so now it's I don't know. He went from being a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame this year because he's been retired for so long to now he has to wait till 2031 to be considered for it again. Like I'm trying to understand what there is to gain. He's probably bored as hell with his wife and his kids at home and I got to get the hell out of here.
I did see one tweet that said that insurance for NFL players lapses or have to get new insurance after 5 years of being out of the league. And I think Philip Rivers just renewed that insurance with that 10th kid.
Wow. I
It
mean,
was
super
something
smart.
Kurt Benkert tweeted, but it was kind of spot on.
I mean, if he did that, like, then you're smart as hell, and I'll give you that. But I'm curious of why. I'm sure there are a lot of other free agents. Hold on. Let's see what quarterbacks are available.
The tweet reads, "No coincidence that Philip Rivers goes back to the NFL right before his health insurance clock runs out. When you have a 20-person deep roster at home, you got to do what you got to do before the 5-year clock is post up playing."
Yeah. That's I guess
post
like
playing.
I get it. Hey, I understand. I mean, go do what you got to do, man. You got to support. Like he's literally got like 10 kids. Like it's
got a
something it's
grandkid.
something crazy. Like he's got a grandkid.
Yeah, his oldest has I believe a newborn, so it makes him a grandfather now.
Yeah. So Philip Rivers is the guy that's going to get this Colts team all the way to the promised land this year. I don't think you can do it, but that's kind of what it is. But yes, the NFL is very weird. So right around, and it gets crazy from 5 till about 9 because anything can happen between the Chargers, the Bills, the Texans, the Colts, and the Ravens. I think between those teams right there, something can happen. I'm kind of gonna go ahead and X out the Ravens. I don't think they really have a chance at 6 and 7 at this point. Considering the way they've played this year. So those teams, and then in the NFC, you've got the Bucks, the Lions, the Bears, the 49ers, which I don't really think they should be considered, and the Seahawks, which also shouldn't be considered because they're going to make the playoffs anyway. So there's a lot to happen. So these next 3 weeks of football should be super, super fun, including some Christmas games. Are there Christmas Day games this year?
Yeah, we got a handful of them.
Yeah,
on
we got
Netflix.
a handful of Christmas games. And so we might talk about that the second hour. Should have my guy Keon in Portland coming on next. We're going to laugh a little bit and talk a little Portland sports, stuff like that. So it should be fun. Right here, 105.1 The Fan, Sports Saturday.
Is your financial
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, per Adam Schefter, the Indianapolis Colts will activate Phillip Rivers to their 53-man roster, making him officially eligible to play in Sunday's game against the Seahawks. Rivers' last appearance on the field was a playoff game in January of 2021, where he threw for 309 yards in a wild-card loss to the Bills. Steelers pass rusher T.J. Watt had a successful surgery Thursday to repair a partially collapsed lung that he sustained after a dry needling session at the team facility Wednesday. Mike Tomlin told reporters that Watt will not play in Monday night's game against the Dolphins. The Army-Navy game is today, where they will face off for the 126th time in their legendary rivalry. Navy leads the all-time series with 63 wins, 55 losses, and 7 ties, and they come into the game as 6.5-point favorites. That game will kick off at noon inside M&T Bank Stadium. And over to the association, as your Portland Trailblazers will host the Golden State Warriors tomorrow at 6 p.m. inside the Moda Center. Golden State coming in at 5.5-point favorites with an over-under set at 236.5. We'll make sure to keep you updated with injury information as we get it. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now Window Nation brings you On the Fan.
10:06 on 105.1 The Fan, Sports Saturday. Just got a message from my guy, and he's, I guess kids got basketball, and he's just wrapping up there, or trying to wrap up. So he'll get here as soon as he can. I told him, do not hurt yourself trying to get here. It's all good. If he's at basketball, we're not tripping about it. So we'll wait and see if he's able to come in. But if not, man, I got my guy Casey Smith here, kind of like I said, pitch hitting for my guy Jordan Schultz.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sitting in the number one chair because even though I am number one, so you can tell Joe I said that, and I don't care. But yeah, I'm over here in the big chair. I'll be honest, I don't like sitting here. This is not a comfortable chair.
You feel kind of tucked in the corner?
No, it's like it's hard to adjust and it's hard to like put down. I'm already tall, and the last person to sit here is Rob, and so like he's already really like trying to be really high up. Man, this chair is so much. I think it's because Suk sits there, so it's kind of already broken in, right? And so that's the more comfortable chair. I really don't. I was gonna sit over there. I was just gonna go ahead and take the seat over there, but I figured in the one I have to kind of sit in the pilot's chair.
Makes
for
it
now.
easier for me to switch cams.
Makes it a little bit easier, so you don't gotta worry about that at this point. But want to switch gears a little bit and go to some basketball, man. Are you're a basketball fan?
A little bit here and there.
A little bit.
I like players more than teams.
Okay, that's fair. Who's your player?
My favorite player of all time is Carmelo.
Okay.
That's just standalone. I think he's the greatest ISO man to ever walk the game, if not for Joe Johnson.
I mean, yeah, his name is ISO Joe for a reason, but I think Melo still gives Joe buckets. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I think so too.
Listen, Carmelo Anthony to me is one of the smoothest, coolest basketball players that's ever existed. Even post basketball, Carmelo Anthony's just the word the kids use now, that y'all use now, is aura. Like, Melo's got that.
Yeah,
like
he
when
does.
he's the only person on live TV when he's broadcasting basketball games with buffs on. You know what I mean? He made quarter zips a thing now. A lot of kids are out there trying to rock a quarter zip all of a sudden because You know, Melo doesn't wear a suit. Like, why do I have to wear a suit?
I don't think I've seen Carmelo Anthony not in basketball uniform without sunglasses on too.
No, yeah, and you know what? It's perfectly on brand for Carmelo. Like, and that's the thing. How many people can truly, that's not named Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles, could truly just wear glasses everywhere and nobody even second guesses it? His Hall of Fame speech, glasses on. He's on NBA on NBC with shades on. Like, Carmelo Anthony, by far and away, people can hate on him or whatever. I remember the day that they announced that Melo signed to Portland. I was so happy. I was like, wait, who signed here?
First Portland jersey I ever bought.
Carmelo Anthony plays for Portland. Man, get out of here. So that was one of my favorite years ever as far as being a Blazer fan, because, bro, Carmelo Anthony plays for the Portland Trailblazers. Like, that is insane. And he could still hoop. Like, he didn't get the minutes he was getting, but I think if we had a coach that was like, right now I think Westbrook is in a situation to where let him cook, man. Let Westbrook go out there and be Westbrook. And what do you know? Like,
if you can go shoot 38, 39% from the three and still go put up, 18 to 30 points a game,
why not? Like, people, the rest of the NBA, the Nuggets and everybody else had us thinking Russell Westbrook was washed, right? They had us thinking, man, this dude's career the Lakers had us thinking Russell Westbrook's career is over. He looks so bad out there. He looks almost like OKC Russ, right now. So it's crazy to see what he's been able to do. But yes, I think Carmelo is, as far as ISO scorers, KD is, I don't know if there's a better, like, Melo is cool because Melo is smooth, but everything about Kevin Durant is like,
KD is
how do you want it?
KD's 7 foot though. That's
what I mean? Like, and that's the thing.
More impressive from Melo, in my opinion.
You said it's more impressive from Melo?
Yeah, because KD's 6'11". Like, he's got the length to shoot.
That's not it, but I'm saying,
but
how many?
It's his quickness with his length.
It's how many? It's how well that 6'11" guy can shoot. Like, you're talking about the best shooters in the NBA. Who do you think the best 5 shooters in the league are?
Steph Curry.
One, of course.
Jeez, I don't really know. 5 guys right now?
Maybe not right now, but just in general. Right now, I know Dame is hurt, but for me, it's Steph, Dame. If he's on one, potentially Clay, but maybe not, right now. James Harden. As far as, like, being able to just shoot the basketball and everything, and then Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant's before James Harden, so it's probably just Steph, Dame, KD. And people could even say Steph, KD, Dame. Like, you can really do that however you kind of wanted to. So, yeah, a guy that's 7 foot can dribble, has dribble moves on top of that, can shake and bake from the top of the key or whatever, can get a shot over you because, again, like you mentioned, he's 7 feet tall, like, and then can take it to the rack and dunk over you because, again, I'm 7 feet tall. Like, Kevin Durant is a different beast. And, like, you don't have to be this big buffed up guy and everything. Like, you can just be a ball player and everything, and that's kind of what KD is. The reason I love KD, hey man, all I care about is hoop. I don't care about lotion or barbers or anything else. I want to smoke weed. I want to play basketball. And if you can't talk to me about either one of those things, or play video games, when I'm playing video games, I'm typically playing basketball. So if you can't talk to me about any one of those things, then what are we talking about?
I think his financial portfolio might be one of the most impressive in all of the NBA. I think he has 3 businesses that he's invested in that are over $1 billion right now.
Yeah, these dudes are incredibly wise as far as what to do with the money. I think they saw enough people before them get the check and then blow it all the way and then be left with nothing after you played 15 years in the NBA, or you played 9 seasons in the NFL, and then within 5 years you're completely broke. It's a story as old as time. Remember, there was a 30 for 30 once called Broke, and it just talked about how everybody goes broke after they stop playing. So I think these guys are much more savvy about how to invest their money, where to invest their money, and stuff like that. So yeah, shout out to KD, shout out to Bron. All these guys are making billions of dollars, out there, in the world. So it's definitely not the same NBA. But what do you say we talk a little bit of Trailblazers, man? How's that feel?
Let's do that.
Let's talk some Trailblazers. Where do we go from here? I'd love to know right now. I'd love to hear what everybody thinks. So we'll talk some Portland Trailblazers right here, Sports Saturday on the Fan. So I had to Google and just try to find out some AI answers. How many current NFL players have grandkids? Surprisingly, they didn't know. But they said there's no exact official count. The number of current NFL players with grandkids is very low, with Phillip Rivers returning being a notable recent example, joining a rare club of grandfathers who play in the NFL. Most recently, Brett Favre, making them two of the few known active players to hold this distinction. So there you go. If you're a Colts fan, then Phillip Rivers, Grandpa Phil, Old Man Rivers is now your quarterback. So good luck for the rest of the next 3 games. The main goal is to not, have not die on the field, basically at this point, Phil.
I don't think he's even officially been named the starter yet. That's what worries me.
Or don't die at practice, like one of the two. Like, either way, things are this can't end good, if he gets into that game. So hopefully he's just there for like moral support, just like a locker room guy.
The emergency QB.
Yeah, and Phil, one thing Phillip Rivers can do, he'll give a hell of a halftime speech or post-game speech or pre-game speech. Like he'll get you. He's the white Jameis Winston. He'll get you jacked.
And he'll be trash talking all 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Regardless if his helmet's on or not.
And he's not cursing when he's doing it. That's the weird part about it. Like
a lot of shoots and shucks.
Yeah, if you're gonna trash talk me, you gotta cuss at me, man. Like don't tell me, gee golly gosh, man, what? Bro, what are you talking about? So, but that's Phillip Rivers. And so the plan is for them to turn things around and potentially make this playoff push, which is something that the Blazers thought was going to happen after the first few games of the season. They were sitting pretty at one point, and I want to say like maybe the 5th or 6th spot. Then they moved slowly down to 7, and then all the way down to 10. It's like, all right, it's still in the play-in. Now I don't even know what team we're looking at anymore, Casey. And I know you're not like a Blazers fan like that. And I'm not sure. I know you live in Portland and you work in sports radio, so I'm sure you followed a little bit.
I just don't chase the heartbreak. I can't.
That's the life that we live, man. And you hope that things will change because you've seen things change for franchises before, right? Oklahoma City was never supposed to be anything, and then they've had 2 runs, and this one, it looks like they're going to win 80 games,
I'm pretty
this
sure
season.
People in the Northwest are still not too happy that Oklahoma City exists as a franchise.
There's a lot of people that feel like that should be Seattle's, championship, and that should be up there. But, so things can turn around. We didn't think Milwaukee would win anything, and then Giannis took his team somewhere. Golden State was one of the worst teams in the league for a lot of years.
DeMonte
lot
Ellis,
of years.
Baron Davis years.
Yeah, they were really, really bad. I remember that one year and you were, how old are you, Casey?
24.
Oh, geez, yeah. So you weren't born at this point, probably. But there was a year that Golden State went all the way to the playoffs. They took this team. They played against Dallas the first round and beat them when Dallas was the number 1 seed and Dirk was the MVP. And so beat them, I think maybe 1 or 2 seed. And then they beat them in 4 games or whatever. And then they played against Utah. And there was this great Baron Davis dunk that he had on Andrei Kirilenko that was like, yikes. But that was a great time for Golden State. And then there was just nothingness until Stephen Wardell Curry, came up and what do you know? And now they're this. So it can happen, and that's what I think we're hoping for. And for a second this season as a Blazer fan, it looked like that was going to be the case. Like, everything was working. Your first game against Minnesota didn't go great, but you played great and you should have won that game. You beat the Warriors, which was a great game. You get your, you should have won the next game against Clippers. So the first few games you played, like, that should have been a win. We lost then. That was close. It was close. And then one day somebody got hurt and then another guy got hurt. So first it was Thibault and then it was Blake Wesley, and then Drew Holiday, and then from there it was like a domino effect of bad things happening. And so that's where we are. Currently, the Blazers have lost to 2 of the worst teams in the league in their last 2 losses. And not just losses, blowout losses. You lost to the Grizzlies. You lost to the Grizzlies 119-96. You lose to the worst team in the league, which is the New Orleans Pelicans, 143-120. How many wins do the Pelicans have?
4.
4 wins.
They are 4-22.
They were 3-22 coming into that game. And you lost to that team, which is crazy. I feel so terrible for Denny Avia because quietly he looks like he's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, he's a very quiet it kind of feels like how the Bradley Beal, John Wall era in Washington felt. It's kind of how this roster feels right now. Got a really group that we're proud of, that we really like, but we don't know if they have it yet.
No, yeah, we definitely don't know what they have. We don't know who they are, and I think we had a glimpse of who they could be at the beginning of the season with the press and with all these things, but now those things have gone away because the other players aren't there. So now it's just hard basketball to watch. Like, I don't make it through many of these games anymore.
They beat the Thunder at the start of the year.
That was the big game, and that was the FU game for the Thunder. So now they're middle fingers up to the rest of the league.
Yeah,
nobody gets a win on us anymore. Like they're
24-1, and they might stay with one loss
for a long time. They're and then they're just going to get better because they got more coming in next year, and then they'll have more the year after that. So like, this is a team we're gonna have to get used to sustained excellence from OKC, and this is why things need to change for the Blazers really fast, because I thought this could be a year where the Blazers could be one of those teams to compete, because all you need to do is be able to play defense. They showed they can do that. And then on top of playing great defense, you've got a guy who is having an all-time season for the Trailblazers right now. He's averaging 25 points, which used to be a lot. Now it's crap because the first top 10 players in the league all average 30.
And the number one player in the league averages 32 and doesn't play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and so it's what can you do? You know, but Deni Avdija is having a great season at 25 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, and 6 assists. He's doing everything, 47% from the field. Like, Deni is doing everything. He stepped his ability to shoot the three up a whole lot this season. He's currently shooting 37% from three. Like, Deni is become the star of this Trailblazers team. I think we thought it was going to be Shaedon, right? And there are glimpses of Shaedon being the guy. Like, we can see it sometimes, like, okay, he's really good.
I think Portland Trailblazer fans definitely wanted that 1-2 punch that Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum feel with Scoot and Shaedon.
Yeah, and that's probably not going to happen the way that we want it to at this point, because Deni Avdija looks like he's your primary ball handler, especially now with Jrue Holiday out. So he's your primary ball handler, and there's no stopping him once he gets to the rim. There was a streak of like 3 or 4 games. It was triple doubles, like, no problem. So we know that he can do everything on the floor. It almost reminds me a little bit of Luka, of how he plays. Like, that really low dribble to the ground.
Like a lengthier Luka.
And just maybe a little quicker than him. Now, I think Luka is craftier than him and can do obviously a better shooter than he is. But his ability to get to the rim, and once he's at the rim, how do you want it? Finish this way, up and under this way, crazy hook this way. Like, once he's at the rim, I'm almost for certain Denny's going to score.
If Deni can develop more as a spot-up shooter, I think he'll be the best player in the league.
That's really the only thing missing from him.
But that's the one thing in his bag that he doesn't quite have, is his ability to find a spot and be lights out from that spot.
Yeah, but even still, without being able to do that, he's shooting 47% overall, 37% from three, 80% from the free throw line. Like, he's doing everything that you would want your superstar player to do. And as I look through the NBA, I don't know if there are a lot of guys that are, putting up those huge numbers. Now, you look at the Jokic's, okay, of course, Jokic and Shea and, and some other guys, but for you go all the way down, and Deni is the only one with 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He's killing right now, if you look at what he's doing. So as far as being an all-star this year, I wish the Blazers were better, because this could have been a great opportunity for Deni Avdija to showcase how great he is against the rest of the world. But now that it's this Team USA versus the world and everything like that, like, who the hell cares? Let's do that. That's one thing we have not talked about, man. We were going to do Who Do You Love, but the truth is, both the guys are gone. I don't even know what the score was from last week, because Joe never leaves the information for me to log in and take it. So we're going to forego Who Do You Love this week. Is that okay?
That's fine with me.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So let's have a real conversation. Team USA versus the rest of the world in an all-star game. Who wins that game? We'll talk about that next, right here, Sports Saturday. But first, Casey has sports.
Now, Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, per Adam Schefter, the Indianapolis Colts will activate Phillip Rivers to their 53-man roster, making him officially eligible to play in Sunday's game against the Seahawks. Rivers' last appearance on the field was a playoff game in January of 2021, where he threw for 309 yards in a wild-card loss to the Bills. Steelers pass rusher TJ Watt had a successful surgery Thursday to repair a partially collapsed lung that he endured after a dry needling session at the team facility Wednesday. Mike Tomlin told reporters that Watt will not play in Monday night's game against the Dolphins. The Army-Navy game is today, where they will face off for the 126th time in their legendary rivalry. Navy leads the all-time series with 63 wins, 55 losses, and 7 ties, and they come into the game as 6.5-point favorites. That game will kick off at noon inside M&T Bank Stadium. And over to the association, as your Blazers will host the Golden State Warriors tomorrow at 6 p.m. inside the Moda Center. Golden State coming in as 5.5-point favorites, and the over-under is set at 236.5. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt and spray. Weekday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. The Fan
This is such a great song, man. See, you're too young to have watched Miami Vice when they played this, on TV as they're rolling down the street and everything like that. Man, there was just somebody, a girl that just got beat up, and so they went to go get the guys that did it and everything like that. And so they're driving down the street and this is playing. Man, classic USA moment, when I used to watch Miami Vice on USA. So that was a great thing. But yes, NBA All-Star game this year is a little bit different. And where is the All-Star game at? So this year, the All-Star game is live from Los Angeles.
Inglewood, California.
Yeah, February 15th, so the day after Valentine's, which is always good. Valentine's on a Saturday this year, so that'll be nice for everybody. It's gonna be super expensive, but they are changing the format because the NBA players are babies and they don't want to just play hard for whatever reason. Pause. But so they are going to go out there and they're going to switch things up a little bit, and I think they have potentially ruined the All-Star game for good now because I don't think this is going to go the way that they want it to go. I think this is going to go south really, really fast for them. So the new format, if you haven't heard, is USA versus the world for All-Star.
If you take a look at the top 5 NBA scorers right now.
Oh, no.
Doncic,
So yeah, we got that. So I broke it up. I was just going through the list, and I'm going through everybody. Like you said, the top 4 or 5 NBA scorers?
the top 5 scorers
Are from where?
3 of them. I'm sorry, 3 of them are from Europe.
So
Or Canada.
So I wrote down the guys that more than likely will be the All-Stars. You look at the stats, you look at the standings and everything like that. I do think stats will be a little misleading because I do think there are going to be at least 3 to 4 Thunder on the All-Star rosters. So I expect Chet to be there. I expect Jalen Williams to be there and stuff like that. So there are certain people that I even what's my man's name? Not Carson. I forget his name, but there's
Carson Edwards?
Yes, not him. But I think it's him. I can't remember. They have so many guys in this team. They're so damn deep. So but I do expect some of them. But for right now, I just left them off because I'm going with just the stats, right? What do the stats say? Who do the stats say the All-Stars are?
Carson Wallace?
Carson Wallace. Thank you so much. So yeah, there's certain guys on that team that I expect to make the game. But let's just take that part out and let's just keep it just based on stats, right? So I looked at the standings right now, and I looked at statistics. Words. Let's say that again. Statistics, and as it stands, Team USA would consist of Tyrese Maxey, great season, Steph Curry, great season, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Austin Reeves, Cade Cunningham, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, LeBron. Because he's LeBron, he's going to get voted in like he's LeBron James. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that. I mean, every time LeBron's name is brought up, that's what should be played in the background for the station. Hopefully Dusty hears that and marks that because that's what we need to do. And rounding out this stuff is Jalen Brunson, Cat, and Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. If you haven't watched Jalen Johnson play in the Atlanta Hawks, he's averaging damn near a triple-double. Like, he's averaging 8 assists, right now. So, but yes, and he's averaging 10, almost 11 rebounds and 23 points. So he's somebody you should see. So,
of those people that you named, who's playing the 5 in the game? Who goes up against
I think
Jokic?
Cat will be your 5. Cat will be your 5. Maybe LeBron will have to play your 4. LeBron or KD will play the 4. Jalen Johnson, you will have him, so you'll have a long body in between there to do something, but that will be that. Now we move to Team World. And mind you, this is the world. USA versus the world, which seems a little unfair, but whatever. Canada is part of the world team. Let's start there. So you've got Shea, Luka, Jokic, Lauri Markkanen, Deni Avdija, Siakam, Giannis, assuming he's healthy and can play, Wemby, Şengün, and Franz Wagner. I mean, I don't hate the world team. I mean,
That's a great team.
You've got great ball handling up front with Luka and Shea, and then you can even throw in Deni Avdija in between there. You've got long and kind of lanky bigs and guys like Markkanen that can make things happen. Siakam, that can play the 3-4, if he really needs to. Wembanyama is Victor Wembanyama. And then you pair him with Giannis at the same time, on the same court.
If he's healthy enough to
play. If he's healthy enough to play. We're hearing it's going to be like what they said, 4 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, but I think he's coming up close on the amount of games that he has to be eligible to play to make All-Star selection.
Oh, okay. So assuming Giannis gets back in the next couple weeks, he should be able to play in that game. And then you got like kind of wild cards like Franz Wagner, who could come in and be a guy that just gives you a quick 20, in the All-Star game because he lit up real quick. And so I don't know. America has the more exciting teams, or the USA has the more exciting players. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham is probably my favorite, young player in
more
the NBA
stars,
right now.
Less talent, I'd say.
I think that's the thing, but then you definitely have talent because you have Kevin Durant, you have Steph. You've got guys that can fill it up. You got LeBron, so you've got guys that are going to be able to kind of fill it up. I guess the America's team I expect to play a lot faster, right? I expect them to get up and down. I expect a lot of lobs and stuff like that. Team World, I expect them to it's going to be a slow grind. Everybody on their team that plays like that, with the exception of Giannis. Giannis is just to the basket, like get out of my way. I'm kind of a freight train coming through. Everybody else, Luka, slow bop game. Shea is quick, but it's not a super like fast game.
He's a create spacing, get to the line type.
Yeah, Denny Avia, likes to. He's quicker. He's probably, of all of those guys, he's the one that's going to get to the basket.
I'd say
the
him
fastest.
and Lauri Markkanen are the two slashing finishers.
Yeah. And so Şengün is going to be somebody that's going to clean up a lot of stuff for you. But if you leave him open, he's going to make you pay for it. So I don't know. I think this could go really bad and then they're just so big. They're so much bigger than team.
They're much bigger. They're much younger. They're much more in shape.
And didn't even mention Jokic yet. Who nobody can guard Jokic. And it's so strange because when you watch Nikola Jokic play, like, he doesn't have moves.
He doesn't do anything special other than his quick passing.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Jokic doesn't have any moves. Like, he doesn't have a single go-to move. Everything he does looks almost kind of like, I didn't mean to do that, but it happened. Like, cool, with the exception of his passing, like you said, which is top tier. Everything else is like a dribble kind of layup, and it's kind of went in. It's like, how did you make that?
He's not a dream shake guy.
No.
He's not I'm going to make you fall off this spin move. It's I'm just a little bit longer and bigger than you, so I'm going to get around you, and this is going to go in.
So, yeah, Jokic is a special player, and there's nobody, especially considering you don't have any bigs. Jalen Johnson is going to get worked out by Jokic. Unfortunately, Cat is going to get worked out by Jokic. And if KD has to guard him down there, he's going to get worked out by him.
Is LeBron going to waste an All-Star game trying to guard Jokic for
no? Considering this is LeBron's last All-Star game, let's just be honest. Like, he's going to make the All-Star team for the simple fact that this is more than likely Bron's last season. Like, I mean, I'd be surprised to see if he played another one, because Bryce is not going to the NBA. We will not see another Bronny James situation with Bryce.
You don't think Bryce is as good as, if not better than Bronny was?
I do think he's better than Bronny. I've always said he was going to be better than Bronny. Little brother always is better than older brother. That's just kind of the way that goes, So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. So I do expect Bryce to be better, but right now he's not getting any playing time at Arizona, which, you can take that however you want to, but either way, he's not on the floor. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again this year. So I don't know. What do you think, man? I don't think this game ends well for Team America.
I think it's a game where you think it's going to be in favor of USA because of the stars, but then you realize that the stars aren't going to play all game. They're in their mid-30s, close to 40 now. We're not going to get the same Team USA.
Yeah, they have to run. If they can run, and kind of get out to a quick start, and I'm talking about the young boys.
Or just let Steph Curry just go and shoot 60-footers all
Yeah,
game.
I mean, you can do that. You got a chance. I'm not saying they're going to be, they're going to get boat raced, but if you can get out there and run with an Austin Reeves and an Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham kind of controlling that offense, and, Jalen Brunson, getting to the rack as often as he can, like, you have a chance. You just have to play fast, because we know typically that's not what everybody from the world team does. So,
yep.
Yeah. All right, man, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Casey, what do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do that, and we'll wrap things up right here on Sports Saturday after this break.
#1051 and 1080. The Fan.
What a good song. I like that, man. We can listen to that all day, man. What do you got playing today, man? This is a beautiful little Saturday, which is really weird. Again, I hate to always talk about the weather, but, you know, it's supposed to be like 54 degrees, kind of sunny, you know, for the most part up until about 3 o'clock. So that's a very weird December weather for us.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching this Army-Navy game.
Yeah.
Got nothing else to do today. My girl's prepping to go on a nice trip with all of her friends. She leaves tomorrow. I ain't got to worry.
That's
I got
what's
the
up.
house to myself.
Where's she headed?
She headed to Mexico.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Yeah. You know what that means. Can't drink the water there.
Can't drink the water.
Yeah, man. Have you been to Mexico? Which part?
Cabo.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's just the space to go. Like when man, got to get to Mexico. I don't honestly, when you're young, I don't think really knew about a lot of other spaces to go. It was like, yeah, where you going? Cabo? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's awesome, man. Especially get away for a few days and just kind of get a nice little tan. I mean, I have a year-round tan. You probably don't want one of these, man. Pulled over a lot
I do.
and stuff.
I want a year-round tan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I had a little
Say
bit
that.
more melanin.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. You know, everybody want to have melanin. No, you don't, bro. Yeah, it's all good. Just stay how you are. Things are safe over there, man. But yeah, man. No, like I said, I gotta go and honor a dear friend, and he's still alive. It should be noted that the person I'm going to, pay some respect to.
I was
is
a little
still,
confused.
Yeah. It's about giving, the term giving someone their flowers while they're still able to smell them, right? And so it sucks about like funerals. People come and say all this nice stuff about you, and it's like it's not like you never told me that. You never told me that I was this cool. And I remember this funny story we had when we did this, and then they get to these memorials or these anything like that, and it's like, man, like I wish I'd have got this love when I was alive.
I wish you would have told that story and I could have laughed at it.
Yeah, right. And so this is a great opportunity to be able to tell somebody, hey man, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate what you did and how you did it, and the fact that you did it for us. All those things are important, man. So I'm doing that today. But after that, man, I'm looking forward to just kind of chilling, trying to finish up my Christmas shopping. Are you all wrapped up with your shopping?
Almost. I got a few more gifts left. I got to get my parents gifts. That's about it.
That's the hard one. Like, what do you get?
What do I get the people that brought me into the world?
Yeah, like it can't be like some BS too. You've got to. I'm not gonna say you got to break the bank, but it's got to be. Now that you're older, when you're young, they got enough macaroni necklaces from us, and they got enough, clay ashtrays and all that stuff. Like it's time to really open up your checkbook, assuming you have a checkbook.
I do. I don't know how to write a check though. That is
they don't
something
teach y'all nothing in school, man.
Yeah, they didn't really teach me that.
Honestly, we didn't learn how to write checks in school either, to be honest. Like I had to take a special class. The gentleman I'm going to honor today was the first person to put me in front of people and told me what APR means and what all these things are. And this is how you write a check, and this is how you manage an account and all those things. So it is important to be able to do that. And that's something I'm trying to hammer it in my own right now. But I mean, I hope teenagers, if you're listening right now, don't take offense to this. But I mean, these guys are idiots, man. Like they don't know anything about anything.
That's the one thing I
like
realized
at all.
when I got to college, that I was like, there's a lot of like autonomy and a lot of things that I just don't do that I have to do myself.
Yeah. So how old were you when you truly started like doing your own laundry and making your own meals, and not like food, like, oh, I can make some eggs and some bacon, like making like your own stuff, being kind of self-sufficient? How old were you when you start kind of getting that part out?
I want to say I was 20.
Really?
It was my sophomore year in college because I was living with my brother and he was kind of lazy and I am too. So we would go back and forth at, who does this task? Ultimately, I would just cave and go, all right, I'll cook, do this, that, and the other, compromise.
Yeah, I hear you. For me, it's much sooner, So I grew up in a house of women, really. So mom, grandparents, or grandmother, my grandfather's there as well, but my older cousin lived there as well. So I had to learn how to do stuff real fast because people would be gone a lot of the time and stuff. And so, hey, I need you to put this roast in the oven, and like little instructions written down, like do this, preheat the oven at this time to this heat and everything, and cover it with this. Okay, cool. And so after a little while, you kind of learn how to do stuff. It's kind of cool when you're like 20, 21, and you kind of invite a girl over and was like, oh yeah, you want to come over and have dinner? I'll cook. Like, you can cook.
And you show off your little
can.
bits of independence.
And then seriously, you do all the little things. It's like, man, please, that's Rap City right there, man. But no, it's you'd be surprised. I work in education right now, and I love my students, but you'd be surprised how much that they don't know just about anything. And so we haven't done a good job teaching them. So dads, if you listening right now, man, teach your kids all that stuff. Teach them how to change a tire. Teach them. I run into young boys all the time that don't know how to tie a tie. If you play basketball, and a lot of times they make you like wear a shirt and tie to school before on game days and stuff like that. So I got boys that have never tied a tie before and stuff like that. You've never changed a tire in your entire life. Like you haven't done like a lot of stuff. You have no idea how to apply cologne, to your body. Do you wear cologne?
Every once in a while.
Really?
Really special occasions. I don't like wasting cologne on just a regular day.
Oh.
I'll use like a deodorant spray on a regular day, but if I'm going out, that's when I'll use
Nice
cologne.
little cologne. There you go. These other man, teach your boys something up here. Joe, Jordan. I was like, hey, do you guys like cologne? I was gonna get it last Christmas. Like, man, get them something different. We usually get each other like a bottle of whiskey and everything like that. But I was like, let's do something different, like, you know, for each other. I was gonna get him a bottle of cologne. Joe was like, I don't wear cologne. Like, what? Why? Like,
I would love that. If anyone got me cologne as a gift, I would go, thank you. Do you think I smell
is it
good?
weird for a guy to get
Honest-
another guy some cologne?
I think probably a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
I kind of thought about it after I offered him. I was like, yeah, that might be a little strange. Here, you should smell like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea. But
But
I
it
don't know, they're my
also-
bros though. Like,
But it also could be an attack too.
could you
where it's
get
like,
you couldn't get your brother some cologne?
I could 100% get my brother some.
That's
cologne.
what these guys are.
'Cause
Like,
I
man,
steal
these
their
are
cologne all the
yeah,
time.
these are my guys. It'd be different if these were like this was like a Secret Santa gift, and I was like, hey man, smelled this and thought of you. Like that's that's a little
smelt this and thought of you. That's
a little weird, right? That's a little weird. Pause, right? So that's a little weird. So other than that, like, yeah, I think I could get my coworkers who I'm around. We're all, well, yeah, here you go, man. So you said you don't have any cologne. Don't
It's
give
like
it-
the same as a scented candle. I think giving a bottle of cologne, that's like the same as giving a scented candle.
You know what? Shout out to the ladies, man, because they're so the ability for them to move the way they want to move and never have to think twice about doing certain stuff. Like there is for every guy out there, there is a small moment we have to think, is this appropriate to give to another guy? Might be some candles that smell great and everything like that. I think
It has to depend on what type of smell it is.
I think for a guy it has to smell because it can't even smell like a cologne
it
or
can't
like something
smell
like
like
that.
a candle.
I think it has to smell like bacon or like, you know what I mean? Like steak,
It's got to be like I have a candle that I got a buddy of mine. It smells like chimichurri.
That's, yeah.
It's kind of a joke candle.
Yeah.
But it smells nice.
I think that seriously, I think there are certain foods that just, man, I love the smell of like onions and peppers and stuff cooking, like something about that. If you're out there and you ever just want to fake somebody into thinking that you can cook, start some onions and peppers, put the takeout in the microwave or in the somewhere that it can't be seen, but then you just cook some onions and bell peppers and stuff like that on low heat. Watch that smell permeate, and no matter, it smells like you're making something delicious every single time. Every time, and then you pull out the takeout and plate it on the plate. Really, really nice, man. So, man, thank you so much for coming in today. I know it's short notice, Casey. I appreciate you for pinching today, man. Man, the fellas will be back next week, and we're going to get a chance to talk about this huge playoff game between James Madison and the Oregon Ducks. That's happening next week. Sports Saturday will be back. I want to say it's 10 a.m. next week. So we'll get back to you on that. I hope everybody enjoys their day. For my guy, Casey Smith, I'm Rashad Taylor. We can holler at y'all, man. Peace.